My parents were both university professors, and they encouraged all of us to go to university, but they're pretty liberal. They figured we should do what we wanted to do.
In fact, I laughed at him and said that he was not somebody who, well, the only time he'd ever appeared on a platform, he had sort of completely frozen and was quite unable to do anything. So he should give up such mad ideas. He just was very quiet and went away and did it.
I played music since I was quite young, but I never really took it very seriously till I was about 17 years old when I discovered the guitar. And started playing guitar, and I wanted to be a rock star just like any other 17-year-old, you know. Somewhere in there I just decided that that was what I was going to do. I was going to be a musician, and I've never really questioned that since, you know. I've always done whatever it took to make it work, which is hence the busking, you know.
This is by Washboard Sam. Song called Gonna Keep My Hair Parted in the Middle. And by golly, I am keeping it parted in the middle. And no, it doesn't come off with the hat.
Well, let's face it, it's not the ultimate way to make money. And it might rain.
The top would help out those below. We'd all have a bit more comfort, a bit more dough. Then there'd be no top or bottom for that matter.
Geez, Dave Harris does really good at this. Why can't I do it? But you know, it takes a certain special person to put themselves out there without a PA or just sit on a stool and play in public like that. And to do a good job at it and actually reach out and connect with a crowd instantly, which you have to do when you're busking, you know. I mean, people will ignore you. They'll walk by if you're playing some quiet little tune. But Dave's got the chops, and he's so unusual.
From time to time, for the pure joy of it. Yeah, for the pure joy, just to play on the street and be part of the scene, you know, with people. And it's a way different scene than playing on a stage or in a club or something like that, yeah.
Once I tried it. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to busk.
Why?
Well, you've got to be rather entertaining. You've got to be interesting to look at, and you have to play and sing very loud. Requires a lot of volume and a lot of songs.
He gave me a call. He says, let's go down in front of the Empress. And I was petrified. All of the experience I'd ever had been in clubs and playing in clubs. And we're down there setting up the gear, and people are looking at me, what are you doing, setting up these drums on the street, you know? And for maybe 2 months that summer, every night, it was just more nervous than any gig I've ever done, or, you know, just the pressure's on, you know, you better do something here, you know.
It seems so obvious to me. You walk downtown in Victoria, there are buskers all over the place, and it's obvious they're buskers. And some of them are quite good at what they're doing. Dave puts on a show. To me, there's a very big difference. And there must be to the people that come back every year, year after year, from the States or even totally, you know, European countries where they show up every 4 or 5 years on their holiday. And they look for him. They don't look for the buskers, they look for Dave Harris, the one-man band, the guy that puts on the musical show. So there is a big difference. He's not practicing on the street, he practiced so he can play on the street and put on a good show.
Oh, yeah, it's crowded at the bottom. It must be lonely at the top. Now it will never stop being crowded at the bottom. It must be lonely at the top. Oh, it will never stop being crowded at the bottom.
What's the toughest part of mixing? Knowing when to stop.
He's a workaholic. If he's not playing music, he's recording music, or he's listening to music. There's music happening all the time.
We got married, just a little ceremony in the house. We didn't enter just as a piece. And I worked that night, so.
I wouldn't mind going to a nightclub, but him not having to do anything with music, or because I find that usually if we go somewhere, he's playing. So to me, that's him working, and it's not really us socializing together. So
I play with two main different bands, and they're totally different. The one band's a swing band, and the other band's more of a kind of a rock and blues band.
basically in about 1989 we got hooked up together. I was in a local blues band and Dave was struggling in a local blues band, and we both sort of hit it off pretty good. He appreciated my shuffle drumming, and it's been an experience ever since then. I've learned so much from him, it's endless.
Slim, he's a like traditional blues player. Like you don't see guys that, I mean, most of the stuff we play is like, well, anything that's past like 1960 is all original stuff, and everything else, there's, you know, some songs there's not even a bass part or a drum part, or whatever, so we have to sort of just, you know, fit it together. He plays, you know, like the old, you know, no gimmicks, no gadgets, it's the strings and the fingers.
That's what's missing with a lot of younger blues players, is that they don't do the research, they don't get into the history of it, and they never get to hear all these original versions. You know, it's great to hear Eric Clapton or some British rock star do a blues song, but if you actually go back and hear all the different versions that came before, it gives you a whole other sense of what you could do with it.
He's blues music, and he writes the same way that all those old dead blues guys that are his heroes write. He's maintaining a tradition that hardly anybody else is. There are lots of musicians, very good musicians, that play that music, but there are very few musicians that still write in that genre.
Because of studying, having the records, listening, understanding the realm, and being able to apply himself in that direction as well, right? Which is a big thing in the blues, you know. It's the easiest form to learn, but it takes so much more to actually do something with it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.